Welcome to WD Sports Lounge. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize for the hiatus I've taken. A lot of things were going on, and I had to step away for a while and take care of these things. But I do promise you, from here going forward, I will do my due diligence to keep a more consistent basis and try to build this community the way I envision it to. So once again, for those who are following and that are subscribed, my apologies once again. I know we missed most of the first round playoffs, but that's what we're here for. We can always catch up. There's many episodes that we could do and discuss on things that went by, but we're gonna try to keep it consistent as much as possible. So once again, my apologies on that. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this video. Now, I'm making this video specifically because I had a friend of mine that heard the first two videos that I did, and he texted me and asked me, do I only cover the Golden State Warriors? And the only reason why I covered the Golden State Warriors because I had a great feeling that they would have a nice deep run in the playoffs, considering the addition of Jimmy Butler. But now it's a must that I talk about my favorite team, which, ladies and gentlemen, I am a Miami Heat fan through and through overall, from beginning to the end, from the Miami Arena all the way to American Airlines Arena. I know it's a different name right now, but I haven't lived in Miami for a couple of years, so I've lost as far as contact with the name of the arena. But I want to talk about the Miami Heat. Going back to what I was saying, I didn't cover them before because I knew the series honestly wasn't going to be I don't want to say competitive, but it wasn't going to be there wasn't really much conversation or storyline behind it. If we're being frankly honest, hadn't there not been a play-in tournament, the Heat wouldn't even been in the playoffs. So that's why I didn't really cover them thoroughly, or anybody else for that matter. But we all understand that. But now I want to not grant the request, but speak on my team. I have to say myself that I am very disappointed with basketball operations. And the only person that's in charge of basketball operations in the Miami Heat camp is none other than the Godfather, Pat Riley. Now, Pat Riley, since the time he came to Miami Heat, put his stamp on the team. He put his grit on the team. He put his style on the team. And since 1995 up until this point right now, Pat Riley has had his fingerprint on the Miami Heat. We're talking about Heat Nation. We're talking about Heat culture. We're talking about Heatles. We're talking about Shaq and Black, Shaq and Black, the Diesel Power, Flash. You name it. Alonzo Mourning. We've had our times, and listening to a lot of personalities on the TV today talking about how Pat Riley is just not. He's at his time, and just to piggyback off that, I believe so too. Pat Riley is just not adapting to the times of the changes in the league. Now, I'll give you a little history of me, of myself, as far as being a basketball fan. I am a I am a basketball fan through and through. I love the 90s and the 2000s and even a little bit of the 2010 eras. I enjoyed those eras of basketball, and the hand checking being thrown out didn't really change the game for me as much. Now, I think the adaptation of the three pointer in analytics has made the game a little bit like ping pong, back and forth, and we got these high scoring games. Yeah, it's exciting for offense, but it really takes the excitement and the grittiness and the edginess of the game away. So I'm saying this because Pat Riley didn't handle, I don't think, handled the Jimmy Butler situation very well. And granted, we know Jimmy is a personality himself. He's very outspoken. He tell it like it is, and he doesn't hold back, no matter who it is. And although he gets a bad rep and flack about leaving different teams and leaving a bad taste in different teams' mouths, but you have to understand a personality that's strong as far as Jimmy Butler. The one thing that he has the will for is the will to win, and when he doesn't get his way to win, he makes it. He makes that situation, in a sense, for you to understand that sometimes you have to, in a sense, you have to cater to what's helping you win. Jimmy Butler came to Miami with low expectations. I remember when he signed as a free agent, everyone was like disappointed. Like, why would you go to Miami? Well, we know for sure Jimmy Butler went for the money, but it's because Jimmy Butler is not going to win a championship. Yeah. A lot of people were saying that. And what did Jimmy do? He stepped up and he over-delivered. He over-delivered to the point where he went to two final appearances. Two final appearances. The bubble, and when he went to the bubble, two of his best players got injured. So it was pretty much Jimmy Butler and a bunch of unproven players and role players. And he carried that team on his back against a LeBron James-led Lakers team that the average guard was 6'4". Literally, the point guard of that 2020 Lakers team, I think their shortest guard was 6'4". They had JaVale McGee. They had Dwight Howard. They had Anthony Davis. They had LeBron James. This is averaging anywhere between 6'6" to 6'11", 7 foot. So the height advantage was already at a disadvantage for Jimmy Butler and friends in the Miami Heat team, but he persevered and he pushed those guys to a 6-game series. And you would have think after that situation, the front office would have looked at it and be like, okay, he needs one more bona fide all-star, if not a superstar, to get us to the next level. And I overheard Stephen A. Smith today on First Take saying that he whiffed on opportunities to get stars over there because he couldn't get Dame over there. He couldn't get Kevin Durant over there. I mean, I feel like the Pat Riley I know, Pat Riley always tries to maximize what he has, basically. Pat Riley's the type of person that will make something happen with a bar. Like, he will make something look like a bargain. He's trying to get the most out of every penny he spends. So he feels like if I go sign a $100 million player, I'm going to milk it to the best of my abilities. But I also can get away with not having to play a $100 million player and still get close to the same results. Which is great from an organization, standpoint. But when you have a star like Jimmy Butler, who's resurrecting the team from the glory days of the Heatles back in 2010, when Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh and all these all-stars were playing in that team. That excitement was reborn again through Jimmy Butler. And not only from the 2020 championship, he emerged again 2 years later and went to another finals again. But this time ran into a different team within the Denver Nuggets. Now, this Denver Nuggets team is the same team that beat the other team that beat Miami in the championship 2 years prior. And Jimmy Butler ran into the same situation. He didn't have a complimentary star to help him out. So, as the front office, you seeing this, something should have clicked to be like, okay, let's break the bank. Let's do what we got to do. While Jimmy's in his prime, although let me say this, Jimmy has been injury prone for the past couple of years. He was going through a lot. You know, he had a baby. He was going through a different type of injuries and stuff. I mean, there were things going on in his life. But when it came to playing, when he was on that court, he delivered more than 100% of the time. Mostly 100% of the time, excuse me. And the front office should have been able to realize this, to know that, hey, we have a bona fide star in our hand. Let's feed him. Let's get him what he needs. Let's build this team around him for one last hoorah before we break this whole thing down. But instead, when you have someone that's been running a business or doing something the same ways and is successful at it, they're not going to see it logically to change their method because it works. But on the other hand, that method has driven a lot of superstars away from Miami. So piggyback of what Stephen A. Smith was saying, he was saying that stars don't want to come to Miami anymore. The bravado of its South Beach, it's palm trees, it's tax-free state, it's Heat culture, the Heat Nation, championship winning pedigree, all that throughout the times of when Pat Riley was making sure he was taking care of his stars. That persona was built through that. But now that Pat Riley is trying to pinch pennies when it comes to established stars to build a team, what he's doing is he's alienating the guys that got him to the dance, and most of the guys leave disgruntled. Money issues. Look what happened to Shaq. Moment they gave Shaq that money, he got hurt, they traded him. They traded Dwayne Wade. I mean, they let Dwayne Wade walk. I'm sorry, they didn't trade him. They let Dwayne Wade walk. The Miami Heat's child, baby. We've drafted him. Homegrown. Wade County. Shout out to the 305. Shout out to Miami. I miss y'all. But you let Dwayne Wade walk because you didn't want to pay him for Hassan Whiteside. So it's like the pattern has always been there. Pat Riley caters to his stars for a period of time. He gets what he can get out of them. Once they can't deliver what they can, he lets them go or he doesn't pay them. And usually you want to pay your stars based on what they did. you know, and he actually does the opposite. He pays them for what he may think you can do, but still, he's not willing to try to spend money because he wants to, keep it in the organization. But if you're doing it like that, then you got to hit on draft picks. You got to hit on different ways. You got to hit on free agency or trade value. You know what I'm saying? In that sense. So Pat Riley needs to understand that, and I'm not going to say that it's over for him and stuff like that, but he needs to know that, okay, times are changing, and it's either you're going to adapt with the time or you're going to be left behind. And for what you've built as far as the Heat organization, the way Miami Heat went out this series is a very sad reality that, for me, since I've been a Heat fan, this has been one of the best stretches of success that we've experienced. And we can go, I can go back as far as the moment Pat Riley got there, 1995. Because before 95, Miami Heat was like the laughingstock of the NBA. Pat Riley came in and he changed this franchise. So I will never poo-poo on Pat whatsoever. That's the Godfather. I'm going to respect that 100%. He's the head of basketball operations. He knows better basketball than I do. He knows how to run a team better than I do. All I am is just a regular fan that's watching from the outside. And from the outside, it looks like, hey, you gotta adapt with the times. Even myself, I stopped watching basketball for a while because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, it's too many 3-pointers, not enough defense, none of this, none of that, none of that. So before I decided I was gonna start this channel and talk basketball, I said to myself, you know what? I don't want to step in to the show and talk about basketball based on what I used to watch. I want to be current with what's going on. So I've sat back and watched a few games and I'm impressed. A lot of chatter, a lot of talking about what the game has turned into be. Yes, I get that point, but based on what I've seen in the first series so far, the games have been exciting. There's been a few blowouts, a little bit more blowouts than expected, but there have been some exciting series, and I hope to touch on those series going further as we get towards the week and as we get closer to the NBA Finals. But man, this was sad to see, man. The Heat got slaughtered this series. The Cleveland Cavaliers are just a well-oiled machine over there. They're the best. That's the best team out there. They've been consistently like that all season. And when I saw we were playing the Cavaliers, that's why I really didn't do a breakdown on that series, because there was really nothing to break down. I mean, we're pretty much a shell of ourselves. No offense to to any player that's over there right now, but from what the Miami Heat used to be to now, we are a shell of ourselves as far as the organization goes. And Bam Adebayo said it correctly. There's going to be a lot of changes next year, and I hope for the best. Now, as far as Pat Riley goes, I'm not sure if he's going to still stick around, but I like the idea of putting Spo as head of operations. Keep Pat around, but on a limited basis or more on a consultant basis, just like he was doing when Spo was first started coaching. You're always going to mentor Spo. Now mentor him on another level. Help Spo rebuild this organization back to Heat culture, Heat Nation. Because as a Heat fan, I, for one, I'm not the only one that's disappointed. Sure, there's a lot of Heat fans that's mad the way Jimmy Butler left, that he caught a fit, pulled a temper tantrum and strong arm his way out of Miami. But can you blame the guy, though? Really, can you blame the guy? The man brought you to 2 finals with undrafted players and rookies. A team full of undrafted players and rookies. That man deserved more respect than what he got. He deserved a better exit than what the Heat organization gave him. And that's why I cover the Golden State Warriors, because I like this redemption story for Jimmy Butler. I'm actually happy that Miami did him that service, that due diligence, and didn't send him to a NBA Siberia somewhere. I'm glad that they sent him to a team that actually needed that piece to possibly have another championship run. And Jimmy fits like a glove. I'm watching this guy play, and now he's got what he was missing down here. It's not easy to have to get a Steph Curry. A Steph Curry is not going to be hanging around, because if a Steph Curry is a Steph Curry, wherever he's at is where he's going to stay, because no organization or no owner is going to be that naive to trade or let Steph walk, or caliber of Steph Curry walk. Now, for this situation to fall in Jimmy's lap, where he is being a part of a championship team, a championship caliber team, a team with championship pedigree, a team that's been there, that's done that, that's possibly won the most championships in the last 10 years out of any organization that's been going into finals since 2015. In the last 10 years, the Golden State Warriors have won more championships than any other organization. Anyone. In the last 10 years. And I specifically said 10 years because 10 years ago to this year, the Golden State Warriors won their first title along with the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Since 2015 up until now, right now, no team has more championship than the Golden State Warriors. And now they have a guy who is hungry, who's out for redemption, who's a straight baller, who's got heart like a lion, who has a leadership credential that is beyond what you can imagine. Jimmy Butler literally steps into an organization and demands his control without having to say anything. He is himself, and automatically those younger guys gravitate to him. Jimmy Butler is what Steph is missing to be that killer. But don't get me wrong, Steph is a killer. Steph is out there to assassinate you each time while he's on that court. But he doesn't have that killer instinct the way Jimmy Butler does. He doesn't have that Jordan-esque. Jimmy Butler has that Jordan-esque determination, that will to win, that fire, that desire. And as long as he's healthy, the man played injured. Pelvic contusion. Going day by day recovery. And they're on the brink of eliminating the second seed in the Western Conference Finals, which I called. I called Warriors in 6 because I know this team. I've watched this team play for the last 10 years. That core minus Klay has been consistent. And now you have another consistent guy and even more of a dog inserted. Pretty much that Klay Thompson roster spot where the team was struggling because he wasn't the same player as he was because of course torn ACL and two torn ACLs, and I think an Achilles rupture, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, that guy's not going to be the same player he is anymore. But now you have an upgrade in a Jimmy Butler plugged into that situation. That well-oiled machine that's won 4 championships, they're gunning for their 5th one. And Jimmy Butler is the key. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's balling out. I'm not jumping ship. I'm going to be a Heat fan for life. I love my team. But am I happy with the decisions that they made from a front office perspective? Nah, I'm not. Because Jimmy Butler is not the only star we've driven away from Miami. Whether it's financial issues, personal issues, personality issues, whatever it may be. Stars have come and gone from the Miami Heat. Even the most Heat player of them all, Dwayne Wade, Pat Riley let him walk. Because they didn't want to pay him $25 million a year. That's crazy. But anyway, Miami Heat, I already know this team is going to bounce back maybe in another 2-3 years or so. Hey, you never know. Maybe next year we might be able to get the superstar that we've needed. It might be a little too late, but you never know. Pat Riley does the most amazing things. That's why he's the Godfather. So, and Pat we trust. That's what we say in Miami. And Pat we trust. So I'm still going to put my trust in Pat, but I feel like Pat needs to take this loss, take this season as a wake-up call to know that, hey, so it's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to not hit on every move you make. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to have somebody take over the reins or someone that can help lead the transition to what the NBA is today. We just got to embrace with time. Time changes with everything. That's why the debates in the eras and stuff like that, I don't really like those conversations because every era is different. Every style is different. Everybody plays different. The other day I was watching a clip of Wilt Chamberlain playing, I think they were playing Boston Celtics. And the way Wilt was moving, with my eyes now, he was moving so slowly and methodically, but it was effective. And that style of play compared to that style of play now is two different things. So I can't compare both eras. So it's like, it's great for conversation. It's a great hypothetical, and it keeps it's an ongoing debate that has no end, really, because everyone has a different opinion and everybody's going to stick with that. That's why I try to stay away from those conversations. But yeah, the Heat, Pat Riley, the organization just needs to understand the fact that times are changing and the changing of the guard is here. A lot of the teams that have been reigning supreme in the past 10 years are not making it past the first round this season or past couple seasons. These new guys are here, and they're here to stay. They're here to take the NBA to the next 10 to 15 years. And I hope and pray that the Miami Heat is a part of that conversation going forward. I pray that they're as relevant 15 years from now. I pray that they're as relevant as they've been. Excuse me, tongue-tied right there. I pray that they're as relevant 15 years from now as they've been for the past 15 years. So once again, the Miami Heat went out pretty humbling, as Coach Spo said in his conference. It was a humble experience. It's been a humbling season. Being swept from the playoffs is never sweet, but I hope this is a wake-up call for the organization and as a whole to know that times have changed and they have to make one too. So that's pretty much what I got to say about it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy the vibe. This is WD Sports Lounge signing off. Ciao.